Welcome back. So Stephen Moore, Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, stepped down today. What does it mean with the newly Prime Minister that will be there until 2029? Will much change, or could it absolutely become worse?
Well, it's difficult to say. Burnham is considerably left to where you and I are, and will he focus on foreign policy like Ukraine, or will he focus on domestic issues? And I got to say, your idea that he'll be there till 2029. The UK has burned through like 6 prime ministers in the last few years, so it's hard to say how long any of these guys will be there. But the UK has been, in terms of Ukraine, they've been a steadfast ally, and they have done a lot for Ukraine. And even as the UK has become less of a world power, they're still sticking to the Russians.
Steve, your insights?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of similarities here because what you've got is 2 smaller countries that have figured out how to fight a war that is different than the United States, or that Russia has figured out how to fight. As you point out, everybody in the world thought the Russians would roll through Ukraine in about 3 weeks, including me, and I was there on day 5 of the war. What we're seeing now is that the innovation, the drone war that the Ukrainians have mastered, is just giving it back to the Russians. The Russians have 4 times the population of Ukraine, and by some estimates, the Finnish president said that they're losing 5 Russian soldiers for every 1 Ukrainian's killed, and CSIS, the think tank in Washington, D.C., says it's 8. So what we're seeing is this innovative use of small, cheap drones, whether it be the Shaheds that were designed in Iran and licensed by Russia, made in Russia, improved by Russia, and sent back to Iran to be used against American service members and our allies in the Gulf, whether it's that or these cheap $500 kamikaze drones.
So Steve, has Ukraine become the world's most innovative battlefield for drone technology, and how have drones fundamentally changed the balance between large and small militaries?
Yeah, well, at one time, Russia being the largest landmass in the world was an advantage to it during the war. Now they don't have enough air defenses to defend against the cheap drones that Ukraine is sending in there to destroy military infrastructure and to cripple their refining capacity inside Russia. Just in the last few weeks, just in July, the Ukrainians have used air and sea drones to take out about 184 ships of Russian ships in the Sea of Azov and in the Black Sea. And these are tankers that were carrying crude. These are carrying products that Russia's trying to sell. They're warships. So this just for perspective, if you look at one of these online rankings of world navies, the Ukrainian Navy ranks behind the desert country of Algeria in terms of these rankings. Yet they have taken out 40% of the Russian Black Sea fleet and made the Black Sea unnavigable for the Russians. So they've done that with, again, these very innovative drones that don't cost a lot of money, but they deliver a lot of firepower.
Thoughts on the Secretary of War use of testosterone replacement therapy?
Look, let's get any advantage we can. I got no problem with that at all. If we can use technology to make our troops more formidable, I think that's great. But it's not going to save them from drones. There's 4 countries in the world that lead the world in drone warfare, and that's Russia, China, Iran, and Ukraine. Only one of those is our ally. And, I think one of the reasons that we won't have boots on the ground in Iran is because folks in the Pentagon know that if the 82nd Airborne went into Iran, they would get hit in the face with 1,000 FPV drones. And we don't have the personal defenses, the jamming systems that would save them. The U.S. military doesn't even have enough shotguns to take these down like they're ducks. So the truth of the matter is that the United States is not ready to defend itself against this kind of warfare that's happening in the world right now. And in 2022, President Biden decided not to send boots into the ground in Ukraine. You can understand why he did that. The cost associated with that is that warfare has evolved, and there's not been an official American on the ground there to capture what is happening. And I know dozens of Green Berets, Navy SEALs, other special forces guys that upon retirement came and fought there. And to a man, they walk out of there and say, the Pentagon needs to see this. The American forces need to figure this out. We need defenses against these small, cheap kamikaze drones, and we are not prepared to fight a ground war as it's being fought in the world right now.
Stephen Moore, Mr. Operative, thank you so much for joining us. Jordan Goodman and Gregory Johnson will join us when